Greetings, the Pioneer viewers. How are you doing? I hope you're healthy and well. As the Pioneer team, we continue to be with you with our reports on Russia-Ukraine war. In a moment, we will evaluate the latest developments on the front line with a map. When we look at the latest reports, we see that the Ukrainian army is becoming more mobile on the Kherson front line. We have drawn attention to the presence and importance of the Marines in this region many times. Although Russian troops tried to repel these Marines for a long time, they did not succeed. The cost of these failures seems to be heavy. So what is the latest situation on the front line? Let's take a look at developments together. As the Pioneer team, we are on your screens every day with our detailed reports on Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so as not to miss our report. You can also support me and my hardworking team by using the super thanks button below the videos. Thank you in advance for your supports. Let's start if you are ready, the Pioneer reports. We start with the Kherson front line. According to the latest reports, there is a movement of Ukrainian Marines on the Kherson front line, especially in the direction of Krynki. This area has been the target of the Russian troops for a long time. In particular, long-range Russian artillery has been working in this area for a long time. However, this did not yield results. According to the claims of local sources, the Marines of the Ukrainian Armed Forces recently carried out a breaching operation. It is claimed that the main goal of the operation was to break the Russian presence in the region. Even a limited success is also stated by local sources. However, we can't confirm this yet. A critical threshold has been reached on the Kherson front line, Krynki. Any development in Krynki could determine the fate of the Kherson front line region. However, as we have always said, it must be monitored. At the moment, it is not possible to make precise and clear judgment about the future. Let us continue with the artillery activity in the region. According to the latest reports, artillery units of the Russian armed forces targeted Ukrainian positions in Kherson, Antoniivka, Belozerka, and the surrounding areas. On the other hand, artillery units of the Ukrainian armed forces targeted positions of the Russian armed forces in Oleshki, Kokhani, Olopristan, and Kasa camps. Now let's continue by analyzing the latest developments on the Zaporizhia front line. For almost the last few weeks, we have frequently talking about the offensives of the units of the Russian armed forces west of Robotin. According to reports, the Russian troops continued their persistent attacks on this area. Today, units of the Russian armed forces continued their pressure on the western side of the town of Robotin. However, there is no results. Meanwhile, there are unconfirmed reports that the Ukrainian troops are building new defensive fortifications in these areas. A movement will occur. However, at the moment, it is not yet clear in which direction this movement will take place. According to the latest reports, the Ukrainian armed forces have also launched a series of attacks in the direction of Verbov. There has not been yet a border changes in these areas. However, it is a very important situation in terms of revealing the Ukrainian army's efforts to regain the initiative. Mutual oscillations continue on the Zaporizhia front line. The main goal of both armies is to seize the initiative. There is a process that needs to be followed carefully. This process will give us more information with the end of the winter conditions. However, it's not healthy to make definite comments on behalf of the region under these conditions. Let's continue by mentioning the artillery activity in the region. According to the latest reports, artillery units of the Russian armed forces targeted Ukrainian positions on Robotin, Orekhiv, Molotok-Makhcha, and Vasiliivka lines. On the other hand, artillery units of the Ukrainian armed forces hit Verbov, Novoprokopivka, Solotka-Balka, and Inchenkov. Let's continue with the Wuhldar sector of the Zaporizhia front line. Here we can talk about the awakening of the sleeping giant. According to reports, units of the Ukrainian armed forces in the region have launched a massive offensive. This event is quite remarkable, especially in these days when breaking the Russian pressure in the direction of Ukraine is of great importance. The region needs to be carefully monitored. Recent reports indicate that the Ukrainian armed forces have seized a number of new positions in the direction of Zavidny Bazhania. Let's also look at the artillery activity in the area. According to the latest reports, the Russian armed forces targeted Yorkhanestrom, Mayorsk, Wuhldar, and Makariivka. On the other hand, artillery units of the Ukrainian armed forces targeted units of the Russian armed forces stations in Zavidny Bazhania, Staromlynivka, Volhytny, and Novodonetsk. On the Donetsk front line, we observe a situation similar to the past days. According to reports, units of the Russian armed forces continue to attack Novomikhailivka from the south. They are also carrying out similar actions near Gorogorivka and Pervomskoye. However, they have not made any significant gains in these areas. The Ukrainian armed forces troops continue to hold their positions in these areas. On the other hand, the Russian armed forces manages to advance on the southeastern outskirts of Avdiivka. There is a limited gain. However, it has no tactical significance at the moment. However, we cannot speak of a similar situation for the ongoing offensives from the east and the northeast. According to reports, the Russian army's attacks on Avdiivka, supported by long-range weapons, have largely failed. The struggle for the Stepnoe also continues, but there is no border changes. The Russian armed forces also failed to achieve results in their attacks near the Novokalinov. We continue with the Bakhmut. According to the latest reports, in the Bakhmut direction, Russian troops continue to attack the hills northwest of Klishchiivka. There is a change of strategy. According to reports, the Russian troops are endeavoring the changes of directions of the attacks here, but that we observe the advantage is still with the Ukrainian army. There are also attacks in the direction of Khoromov. Heavy counter battles of Gorobogdanivka are also ongoing, but the borderline is largely stable. Let's also look at the artillery activity in the area. According to the latest reports, artillery units of the Russian armed forces hit Klishchiivka, Andriivka and Chasov Yar. In contrast, Ukrainian artillery units targeted Bakhmut town center, Yahidny and Berkhiivka. Let's continue with the Luhansk front line. According to the latest reports, in the Luhansk direction, the Russian armed forces attacked Blogorovka, but so far they had no successes here. Further north, there are reports that the Russian forces have taken control of Krakhmalnoye. An important motorway runs through the village. It is a section that the hands of the Russian armed forces are already taken it. The situation will be complicated. Russian troops also continued their offensives near Petropavlovka and in Sinkiivka. The Ukrainian armed forces continue to hold their positions in these areas. Now tell me, what do you think? Do you think the Ukrainian army will be able to seize the initiative on the Zaporizhia front line? How do you interpret the failure of the Russian troops to get results from the offensives? Do you think the Ukrainian army will be able to repel the Russian troops on the Donetsk front line? Let me know in the comments. I read and care about all your comments.